Already in the 6th century BC, Tibur had become a flourishing city. It was conquered by the Romans in 380 BC. With its mountain freshness and temples and villas, Tibur quickly became the place for summer holidays for such men as Julius Caesar, Sallust, Augustus, Horace, Trajan, and Maecenas. The Anio flows through the city. Tivoli stands at a point where the river divides into all its ramifications, cascades and leaps down the mountainside to cross the Roman countryside. The Anio plays a leading role among the natural beauties of Tivoli. It surrounds the city and flows through its heart. Its presence can be felt everywhere. The river is one with the art and historical beauties of Tivoli. Rising to greet visitors as they approach the city is the tomb of the Plauti family. An inscription reminds us that it was built by the Roman consul in the 2nd century BC. Antediluvian shapes seem to writhe from the sedimentary rocks, while from the depths rises an uncanny roaring and swirling of waters. These rocks are a unique feature of Tivoli and have been used for centuries. Just outside the town, this limestone, famous the world over as travertine marble or lapis tiburtinus, dating back to Republican times, the two temples remind us, through history and legend, of the two important cults of the Romans. Vesta was goddess of earth and fire. Her priestesses, the Vestal Virgins, had the office of keeping alight the sacred flame that blazed perpetually in her temple. But by far the most important and magnificent of these was certainly the villa of the Emperor Hadrian. The ruins of Hadrian's villa stretch for more than 17 square miles to the foothills of the Tiburtine. As a man of letters, musician, architect, and a cultivated admirer of Greek civilization, Hadrian was thought to have participated in the project and the urban planning of the entire villa, suggesting many of the ideas to be converted into architecture. In so doing, he followed the widespread custom of naming the components of his villa, because of a similar function or simply by inspiration, after the most famous buildings and places of his time, especially the ones in Greece. Moreover, with such typically urban elements as the theatre and the baths, this concept appears justified by the emperor's intention to create an ideal city which assembled the most representative architecture of the eclectic and refined culture of imperial Rome. The same Pius II intended to leave an everlasting warning to his unruly subjects at Tivoli and built a powerful fortress, the Rocca Pia. Moving further into the historic centre, we very soon find ourselves in the medieval quarter, with interesting old streets and perspectives to discover. We come now to one of the grandest masterpieces of the 16th century, where nature and architecture are fused into one magnificent concept. Of all Tivoli's great monumental complexes, the Villa d'Este is undoubtedly the most famous. Its architect was Pirro Ligori. The richly decorated staterooms on the ground floor were intended for receptions. Here we are outside in the garden. In spite of all the pillaging and remodeling that went on through the ages, the garden still largely represents the cardinal's vision. A simple monastery, transformed into a sumptuous palace, immersed in a brilliantly designed theatre of vegetation. The Rometta, with its artificial ruins, inspired by the ruins of Rome, was planned by Pirro Ligorio as a background for the small court theatre. The idea of the fountain was to express the cardinal's passion for archaeology. Among his other exploits, he undertook excavation campaigns in the nearby Roman villas, particularly Hadrian's, to unearth sculpture to adorn his own villa. A legend is told of the Dragon Fountain. 16th century writers relate that it was built in one night to honor the visit of Pope Gregory XIII, because the emblem on his family's coat of arms was a dragon. Below it, we see the Fountain of Neptune. The Fountain of Neptune, a 1927 addition to the Villa d'Este garden. Writers, philosophers and poets of different periods and backgrounds have handed down the marvels of the villa, which was famed far and wide in Europe. In time, Villa d'Este and Tivoli were to become synonymous with a place of beauty and recreation.